here to interview an artist for the Oxfordshire Artweeks for Bicester. We have a virtual exhibition from the 1st to the 16th of May, and then a physical exhibition, which is very exciting, from the 17th to 24th of May at the Bicester Hotel and Spa in Chesterton near Bicester. So I would like to introduce you to the lovely Marie Boyle. Marie, welcome.
Thank you, Maureen. Thank you for having me.
Now, what sort of art do you do?
I'm very much a figurative sculptor.
Right.
Sorry, I am a sculptor. I think I said that.
That's great.
Very much figurative, Maureen, so you know what it is when you see it.
Yes.
It's no way abstract. I love dance, I love athleticism, diving, anything where the figure is hyper-extending itself,
Wow.
I love. And I work in clay, and I cast in bronze resin and bronze. And clay's the perfect medium really for looking flesh-like and getting tones and getting musculature, I find.
Yes.
So yeah, it's I suppose my only medium that I use, clay, and then cast into resin and bronze.
Great. And how long have you been doing this, Marie?
Wow, let me see, over 20 years now.
Right.
And I'm self-taught, and I fell into it almost by accident, really.
How come?
Gosh, we had a lovely home once upon a time in another life, a lovely home.
Where was that? Just out of interest.
It was in Charlwood in Surrey.
All right.
And it had huge big windows, and they were crying out for sculpture. And I renovated a lot of the place, and I went off one day to buy sculpture, not knowing how expensive it is. And being almost over self-confident, I thought, gosh, I wonder, could I do this? And it was the figurative stuff that was singing to me then.
Right.
So I came home and I enrolled in a course with the Surrey Sculpture Society, believe it or not.
Okay.
And it was an adult education course, evening course, and I just fell in love. And I decided my first subject would be the hand.
Fantastic.
Because I thought the hand, what's more difficult than a hand? But it is at the end of your arm, so at least I had a model.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, I did it, and it took weeks, and I struggled with it, and I got there.
Fantastic.
I got there in the end, and I thought, this is for me. I absolutely loved it. And I loved the different aspects as well of the sculpture, because the modelling was one thing. Then we had to cast.
Yes, that must have been something.
The instructor was amazing. Yeah, he did everything. He showed us how to use silicone. He showed us how to make the mould, and then make the fiberglass case, and open it, clean it out, and paint in the gel coat bronze, and fill it with resin, and then just let it go off.
That's wonderful. So going back to your comment about, you know, the figure and sort of hyperextending the figure, or whatever, the hands, or the dancer or a swimmer or whatever, do you do sort of sketches first, or do you start moulding straight away? How do you do that?
Oh gosh, that's a great question. It's hilarious. I can't draw for love nor money.
Really?
I cannot draw. I did, shortly after I did that course and that exhibition, I met a lovely lady, the late Dorothy Arthur from Surrey.
All right.
And she was, oh gosh, I think about 87 when I met her. And she taught me, she said, sit down, and this is how you start, and you must draw like this.
Right.
And she used to roll her eyes. She couldn't believe how poor I was at drawing, but yet my figurative stuff looked like something, you know.
Incredible.
And she said, gosh, maybe everyone doesn't have to draw then.
No,
Bless her.
no.
But she did say also, regarding abstract versus realism, she said, you have to learn how to do it right before you do it wrong.
Yeah.
And that always stayed with me, actually. So I'm hoping I've years and years of wonderful sculpture ahead of me, because I have to learn how to do it wrong still.
Oh gosh, well, I mean, that's fantastic. So do you exhibit a lot?
I was with 3 galleries. 2 of them have fallen in hard times, unfortunately, due to the last year.
Yes,
they won't open again. One is still around. And in that time, I probably got a little bit complacent, and I wasn't exhibiting. So now I'm back exhibiting.
All right,
so I'm delighted, and I'm doing 4, maybe 5 exhibitions this year.
Fantastic.
And I'm doing a lot of my own casting at the moment. I did have a caster, but again, because of the times, I'm doing a lot. So I've learned a lot of the technical side of things, and the last year as well.
Good.
So it's all good, yeah.
And just one last question from me. I mean, I always ask myself, because I'm an oil painter, what do I want the viewer to feel about what they see? So what would you think the viewer, what do you want the viewer to feel?
Oh gosh. Well, first of all, I suppose being anatomical artist, I suppose I want to make sure it's right, so that they are going to see that it's correct.
Yeah.
It's done correctly. So that's very important. The other aspect which I think is very important, and this would probably, you would probably say the same thing, Maureen, regarding your painting, there has to be some sort of essence of spirit or soul in it. Now, whether that's the artist or a separate entity altogether that is introduced or brought into the work. I think when that is there, the viewer will see that and will be drawn to it. Brilliant. And if it's not there, and unfortunately sometimes you can see that
sometimes it's not, no.
You know, maybe the viewer will move on to the next piece.
Yeah.
You know, so it's very interesting. Obviously, interpretation of spirit and essence of something deeper than the superficial is down to interpretation of the individual.
Of course, and I think the passion that you put into it, whether it be a painting or a sculpture, whatever, that comes across as well, and how you talk about it.
Absolutely.
Marie, it's been a total pleasure talking to you, and I'm looking forward to seeing your sculpture. So thank you very much for the interview today.
Thank you.